Hi, everyone. I'm pleased to introduce Amber Houle. She's the Director of Community Services for the Northern Sunrise County. She's been a champion since March 2021 and has been a member of the advisory committee, which helps inform and direct this campaign. Thank you for being here, Amber. Do you want to hop into some questions?
Most certainly.
Perfect. Okay. So can you tell me a bit about your role and the community that you work with?
Sure. So as Greg said, I'm the Director of Community Services, and I actually work for two municipalities, Northern Sunrise County, as well as the Village of Nampa. And our Community Services Department provides cultural, recreational programming, as well as preventative-based programming through our Family and Community Support Services hat. And our aim is to enhance the quality of life for those living and visiting in the county as well as in the village. We serve individuals ages 0 to 99 and beyond. So we do a lot of programming and provide a lot of supports. We coordinate programs in 8 communities in total. And then, of course, we reach out to our surrounding municipalities to support where we can. And just in our area alone, we have approximately 2,000 individuals. And then if we count our shadow population, we're looking closer to 3,400. So we are a small, more rural, remote Alberta community with large oil field presence. So very transient.
Okay. So since there's a fairly strong oil and gas industry presence there, generally, what is the male culture like in that county?
Yeah, so we've got, like you said, that the oil field workers, that industry, we've got really strong, resilient farmers in our neck of the woods as well. Many of the men that we see come through our doors are that traditional stoic type, the individuals that may not be as comfortable having conversations around mental health and reaching out for those supports. From a programming perspective, we do struggle with attracting and retaining individuals that identify as male, excluding our child and our youth-based programs. So that's where we've been seeing a lot of success, in that we work really hard to support our children who identify as male in hopes of just breaking down those stereotypes and that stigma really early on, especially when it comes to men's mental health.
Cool. What originally motivated you to get involved with Buddy Up?
Yeah, so as an FCSS coordinator, we're always looking for additional resources and things to fill our tool buckets. And I actually originally heard about Buddy Up through a neighboring community. So the town of Peace River had started advertising it in 2020, and they had it on billboards, and that caught my eye. And I instantly knew, that I needed to research that initiative and just to find out ways that we could get involved. Because as I mentioned, we do struggle with that attraction and retaining of individuals that identify as male at our program. So we wanted to add that layer. And so when we looked into the Buddy Up program, it seemed like a really great fit for our organization and for all of the communities that we serve.
So you've mentioned that you guys have had some challenges engaging with that male population. What sort of ways have you guys gone about trying to gain more engagement with that community?
Yeah, so we kind of started off small. So actually just getting those resources out there was a big thing for us, just to get people comfortable with the supports and the resources that are available, both from Buddy Up and as well as the local and regional supports that we have. So when we looked at the Buddy Up campaign and how we planned on implementing it, that first year was really about getting that message out and just getting it out on all levels. So through social media, through our e-newsletters and our correspondence from the municipality. And then we've kind of been building on that. So last year we actually branched out and we did some partnerships with some local organizations that already have a high traffic of males coming in their doors. So places like Bumper to Bumper, which to some might be like, what? We partnered with them because we recognized that the farmers and the industry workers were actually actually gathering there already to have coffee. And so we ended up sponsoring the coffee and bringing in donuts and setting up information booths to really link people to the Buddy Up campaign as well as to those local resources that we already have. We had quite a bit of feedback from that. We've gotten positive feedback, and actually individuals are asking if we're going to do it again. We did a door prize, and we tried to entice them to come and grab that information and ask those questions. We also got approached by our local co-op, who does an annual barbecue every year to give out their debenture checks. And they asked if we would bring the information their way. So we've started to see those organizations already latching on and looking for ways to collaborate with us. And this year we're actually expanding on that as well. So we're hoping, we've noticed that a lot of our neighboring municipalities and some of our larger organizations are starting to join the Buddy Up campaign. So we're hoping to come together and build maybe like a Buddy Up barbecue, bring in some live music, setting up those information booths along the way, just to increase that awareness and provide that support. And from our organization, our long-term goal is actually to set up some kind of men's group in our region, similar to Men's Shed. Just creating those opportunities for men to come together, build those relationships, and just continue that awareness to break down the stigma and just have those open, honest conversations, getting those started.
Awesome. You've mentioned providing information. What sort of tools do you guys use to help provide that information? Like, are you guys using toolkits?
Yeah, so specifically with the Buddy Up campaign, we actually put together resource kits, which has the CSP resources that are wonderful. We found out that the suicide prevention kit quite often. And then we also have some really great local resources through Alberta Health Services, as well as through our own offices. Again, just linking people to what's already there. A lot of times when we talk to people, even though they see that information, sometimes they forget it or they misplace that. So constantly pumping that information and providing it and making sure that it's accessible for people, I think is really important.
Awesome. So you guys are kind of linking a bunch of different services provided by different providers all together as a single package.
Correct. Yeah.
That's awesome. So since it's Lift Up, what is your organization doing for Lift Up?
Yeah, so we're actually encouraging others to share some kindness in our communities in support of the campaign. So we put together a Lift Up Acts of Kindness campaign, kind of like a calendar looking vibe. I should share it. I will share it with you guys after. So it was launched on January 30th. And what we're doing is encouraging participants to just tell us about a random act of kindness that they've done recently for a chance to win. And I know that incentivizing it is not the greatest thing, but we just really want to get that involvement and also bring awareness to people that kindness doesn't have to be these huge, grandiose displays, that they can be those simple things. It can be making a gift for someone or donating to a local charity, sharing baking, checking in on neighborly or like elderly neighbors. Keeping it really simple for people, but also just encouraging them throughout the month to spread that awareness. So they have until the end of the month, till February 28th, to be able to enter in for it. And I want to kind of tap back into what Seth had said earlier, is that kindness is connection piece. And we really want to create those opportunities for people to share super simple acts of kindness just to strengthen their connection to other people as well as in their communities. So yeah, I'm really hoping. We've had some really good feedback. We were able to get the calendar out through a bunch of our email streams. It's so very localized right now. We've been working with the schools to get calendars in their hands and again, just encouraging all ages to start participating and spreading that kindness.
That's great. That's awesome. So let's talk about some of your success stories. So how has Buddy Up made an impact in your organization and in the community?
Yeah, so when we talk about success, especially in rural, remote Alberta, it's not those big displays. For us, the biggest success has been people walking up to our booth when we're sponsoring those coffees, and grabbing the resources and actually taking the time to ask questions to further their knowledge. That to me is huge success. That means that we are working towards breaking down that stigma and that fear, right, of actually reaching out and trying to find more information on the resources available. Also being invited to by community groups and different agencies to be able to share those resources and push forward and expanding on what we're already doing. And then the big thing is having men that are willing to actually take their photo with the resources too. This breaks down, like, again, that stigma. It creates impact, especially for those people that are like, hey, I know that individual. When you recognize someone that is a friend, a colleague, or a family member that's supporting the campaign, I think it really creates interest, and they're more inclined to reach out and get more information. So yeah, we're really grateful that there is so many layers of support available, and especially one that is tailored to individuals that identify as male, just because it is unique. There's not a lot of that out there, and I think it's very important to be able to reach out to all genders.
Have you guys received any direct feedback by anyone about how the campaign has influenced their own lives?
The big one that we had is it came from a farming agency that reached out to us and asked us for posters. So they started putting posters up, and from there they ended up having an individual that really related to that poster, and they asked for different opportunities. So they were able to connect with their EAP program and have further conversations, because they recognize, like, hey, I actually am having some difficulties. And it was actually the poster of clay that created that impact, because again, we have a large farming population. And so when that one got released last year, that's where we seen a lot of success from, was people can really relate to that, especially if that's their field of work.
Cool. And then sort of to end our conversation, so you guys have been really successful bringing this campaign into the community. And I believe that you're also one of our first interviews with someone who's bringing this campaign out for their community. Do you have any tips or any advice that you would give other groups or people who would be looking at bringing this out to their community?
Yeah, the big one is start small, right? It doesn't have to be an event or a collaboration with organizations. Just start by becoming a champion and ordering the swag. I think the swag is incredible. The air fresheners we can't keep on our shelves. And then looking at building upon it and adding the resources that are specific in your area, I think is really important, so that you have that extra layer there. And then the big thing that our big learning is meet people where they're comfortable. So look at those natural gathering places like the bumper to bumpers, or it could be a local gas station that's offering coffee, and start there. Really start at that grassroots level and meet them where they're at, where they're comfortable. So yeah, and I think sending an email only gets so far, but actually meeting people face to face and starting those conversations in person, I think, is huge.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think those conversations about suicide prevention are much easier in person than over emails. And yeah, it sounds like you guys are doing an amazing job out there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for lending us your time to sort of educate us and let us know how things are going with you guys.
Sounds great. Thanks again for the invite.
Yeah, no problem.